Hey guys, Preston here. Welcome back to another video. I'm also doing this in podcast form, so hello to anyone listening to the KMA Sports Show podcast. This is filming a YouTube video at the same time, so I'm going to be talking like it's a YouTube video, but you'll just be hearing it normal if you're on audio platforms. Anyways, guys, sorry. Welcome back to another video. Today I am continuing my 2021 Notre Dame recruiting class position breakdown, and today it is the running backs. Sorry about any background noise. My washer's being kind of weird. Also, new camera, so I'll have to tinker with the quality a little bit. Let me know if this video quality is good, bad. Yeah, it's up to you. Anyways, I'm gonna try to be looking at camera this time, and a bit of a change up from normal. So hopefully it looks normal. So, anyways, let's get into this. There's only 2 running back recruits to discuss, so this video will probably be a little bit shorter than the quarterback one, where there was also 2. But there's a lot to talk about with Tyler Buckner. Today, we're going to be looking at the 2 running backs and Logan Diggs and Audric Estime, talk about what they bring to the team, how long till they make an impact on the team, and if they'll stay, if these are guys capable of just going pro in 3 years. Anyways, I think we'll start with the highest rated recruit, and technically the one who committed officially first, even though Diggs was verbally committed a lot earlier. And that is Audric Estime out of New Jersey, the 6'1.5", 215-pounder from St. Joseph Regional High School in Montvale, New Jersey, signed with the Irish after we flipped. We flipped him from Michigan State, or he was verbally committed, and we swung in and got him towards the end, which is kind of an impressive move, if you ask me. Obviously, Michigan State's not the biggest school, but obviously, he was committed to them already, and we managed to get him on our side. The dude is an absolute unit. If you haven't seen a picture of him, he is just built. That's the only way to say it. Dude's built. He's jacked. He's a trucker of a running back. I'd say he can play like the bus, but obviously he's more muscle bound than the bus was. The bus would run you over, but he's big, just kind of a bigger guy, not jacked. This guy's just all muscle. He's like a DK Metcalf running back kind of a deal. Just some more of the basic recruiting info for you on the 247 Sports Composite. He was a 9-1-08, 4-star, 241st nationally, and the 11th ranked running back in the country, the 3rd in New Jersey, and then off just 247, they have him also 241 nationally, but the 14th running back and the 4th best player in New Jersey. I will say this, Gatorade gave out their High School Player of the Year awards recently, and Audric Estime was New Jersey's High School Football Player of the Year. So congrats to Audric. That's just a testament to how talented he is. I think he might be kind of underrated, honestly, but top just outside the top 10 in terms of running backs in the country, when there's obviously plenty of running back recruits out there, is impressive in itself. Like I said, the dude is a beast. He seems like the perfect kind of goal line running back. I don't want to make him sound one-dimensional, because I wouldn't say he fully is. Like, he's not just the guy you put in the goal line, but he's built perfectly for it. I'd definitely call him, he's a physical backer. Not backer, he's not a linebacker. Physical back, and he will get the job done. He looks menacing, man. He just is, and I'm super excited to get to see him run the ball at some point. Obviously, with both of these guys, they're buried behind a very talented depth chart with Kyron Williams and Chris Tyree ahead of them, as well as Sebo Flemister, who's proved to be a very solid running back 3 last year. Obviously, it's a little up in the air with Sebo Flemister. He had that hit and run incident. I don't want to dive into it too much or speculate on anything, but we haven't heard anything, so he might not get any sort of punishment from the school. He might get some, which if he is suspended or something like that, obviously that creates an opportunity where guys like Audric or Logan Diggs, who's the other running back we'll talk about, could see more snaps than they probably would have. But either way, it's pretty much a guarantee that they will both, or at least one of them, will get snaps the season after this upcoming season, because it is highly likely that Kyron Williams gets to go pro if he has another great season this season, which I think we all, knock on wood, we expect him to have. So they will get playing time by their I'd say they'll probably, one of them or both of them could get redshirted. So by their redshirt freshman or their sophomore years, they'll get playing time. And so eventually they will, at least one of them will end up being a starter. And so that's something exciting to keep an eye out for. And just more on Estime, I guess we can talk about a little bit. He had offers. He had 18 different offers. Like I said, not a 4-star, but not as highly talented as you probably thought he would have just from seeing him. Like I said, Gatorade Player of the Year in his state. Just an absolute unit. Like I said, the dude's a physical downhill runner, which makes me think he could actually get some snaps this year. If we're talking about outlook of this, I mean, I love Sibo, but I think Audric could be an even better kind of short yardage or backup rep kind of back. I feel like he can just run you over and get that extra yard if you need it, and that's a great trait to have for a running back. I'm very excited about what Audric brings to this team, and I think you should be too. So if we're going on our long-term projections, I do think he will end up being a starter for Notre Dame at some point. Probably, my guess is after Williams goes pro, and then Tyree if he goes pro that next season afterwards, or even if he stays till he's a senior. I imagine Audric is next in line for the starting position, barring, we don't know fully because maybe there's a beast in 2023 recruit or the 2022 recruits go crazy. You never really know, but I think he's starting quality is what I'll say. I think there's a chance he gets to start at some point in his Notre Dame career, and even if he's not a starter, if he's in some sort of rotation, like I said, his physicality lends him to be perfect for a running back rotation, physical back. Bring him out every 3rd and 1 if you need to. It'd be awesome. You could see that maybe potentially happening. Like I said, if Williams goes pro, maybe you do something where Tyree's your kind of everyday back, but when you need tough yards or something, you go with the more physically menacing Audric Estime, because obviously Tyree's more of a smaller guy, very fast, stuff like that, but not as pop you in the mouth as Audric Estime is. So, like I said, I think there'll be a role for him on this team no matter what, and I'm very excited to see what he brings. And now the next guy, this video might actually be way shorter than that. I usually ramble for like 40 minutes about stuff. This time it'll get to be a little shorter. I will go longer on stuff like the wide receivers and stuff when we get there. I'm going to try to hit all these positions just so we can get some stuff about him. It's a series I started, and I want to actually finish the series for once. So real quick, before we get to Logan Diggs, who's the second and final running back in this recruiting class, please take this time to hit the subscribe button. It'd mean a lot to me. I'm trying to get to 200 subscribers. Hopefully, heck, maybe there's a chance I have them by the time you watch this. It would mean a lot if you could just hit that subscribe button if you enjoy this content or Notre Dame content in general, because I guarantee I will continue to make Notre Dame videos, including position previews for every part of our team leading up to the season, which I did some last year. I'm looking forward to do even more this season, as well as there will be game previews and post-game reactions during the entire season, just like I did this previous season. If you're interested in watching those at all, there's a playlist linked in the tags with all my Notre Dame videos, all my previews, all the talk about different recruits we've landed from the 22 class, stuff like that. So just if you like Notre Dame content, click that tag and just go to the playlist. I'll also have the playlist linked at the outro part of this video, so you can keep an eye out for that too. But like I said, please subscribe. Also, please like the video and share it with any Notre Dame fans that you know. Let them get to know more about the players who'll be on their future team. I know not everyone's super into recruiting, so I think I try to do my best to provide videos for you to kind of tell you what you want to know about these kids before they get to Notre Dame, just so you can take your level of fanhood even deeper and know these kids right when they land on campus, instead of having to wait for them to break out, like their sophomore junior year, and you're like, where did they come from? So hopefully you enjoy these videos. I enjoy making them. So anyways, like I said, sorry for a little intermission in between, but it'd mean a lot to me if you could like this video and subscribe. And also, if you have any comments or questions about, it could be recruiting in general, it could be about these two specific backs, it could be about just the team, feel free to comment them below. I will gladly respond. I love talking sports, especially Notre Dame, with anybody, so just keep that in mind. And let's continue for the final back. Like I said, shorter video this time, and that is Logan Diggs. 6 foot, 195 pounds. I know I kind of harped a lot on Estime's physicality, but like I said, just like how he's not just a physical back, he can do the regular running back stuff you need. Same with Diggs. He's not just like some fast hurdle guy. Like, he's physical too. He's actually I think he's more physical than Tyree is. I think Diggs is actually kind of criminally underrated. I don't know what scout said it, but I believe someone who works for 247 or something like that. I could be wrong though, so don't take it with a grain of salt, I guess. Like, don't put me at gunpoint for this, but I think one of them said that they targeted Diggs as someone they could end up looking back on and be like, man, we really underrated that kid. And that seems to be the case, if you ask me, as he is only a 3-star, a high 3-star. I'll give him that, 8776 on the 247 composite, which sorry I didn't explain the composite earlier for anyone who doesn't know by now. 247's composite is kind of an average based off rankings from multiple recruiting services. I believe the big three being 247 themselves, Rivals, and ESPN, and they kind of average them together there for that composite. So in terms of the composite, like I said, a .8776, 3-star, so kind of high 3-star, 499 player nationally, 28th ranked running back, and the 16th ranked player in Louisiana. But the Louisiana part's interesting. This goes to part of that underrated. I believe that last season he played, he actually was part of the Louisiana football all-state team as the running back, which means obviously he is very good. He made the all-state team, so probably a little better than the 16th best player. Like I said, kind of an underrated guy. Very physical, awesome running back. Got an LSU offer late in his recruitment, but it's not. I mean, he had plenty of Power 5 schools after him. 26 offers, so actually had more offers than Estime did. From Louisiana, which is a state Notre Dame's doesn't actually have a big foothold in, but they're trying to. A notable player from Louisiana on our current team would be Lawrence Keys, the wide receiver. So now we got 2 offensive players from Louisiana on the team who could hopefully make impacts at some point. Like I said, and then 247 Sports has Diggs as an 88, 3-star, so slightly higher, 27th ranked running back. But Jude's just a beast, man. Like I said, he's underrated. He just is, honestly. This is one of those classes. It won't be as bad for 22 and definitely 23. But for these 21 recruits, you got to remember, a lot of them didn't even get a senior season. And then some of the ones that did, it's just affected. Stuff was affected by COVID. A lot of these recruiting sites kind of get their rankings based off the camps they host, like Rivals host camps, 247 hosts camps, and then there's like those Under Armour camps, stuff like that. So these camps didn't happen this season because of COVID. So just a lot of people didn't get proper looks this season, and evaluations probably aren't as good as they normally are. And so you get guys like Diggs who kind of fall through the cracks. And to me, I'd say he's at least a 4-star. So like in my eyes, if you ask me to rank these kids, we brought in 2 4-star running backs this class. Diggs is a physically imposing guy who can also just make you miss. He's got legit speed. I wouldn't call him a burner. He's not like a Tyreek Hill, but he's fast. He plays fast. Can make you miss, and he can probably run you over, which is awesome. You like that kind of grit and physicality he brings to the game. Like I said, 26 different offers. So that's nothing to, whine about right there. Notable schools being Arizona State, Arkansas, LSU, like I mentioned, Michigan State, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, Ole Miss, Purdue, USC. So like big schools, Big Ten schools, SEC schools. There's plenty of big schools, and also anytime you beat USC out for a commit, it's awesome. So shout out, let's go Diggs, right? So anyways, Diggs in terms of projection, like I said, I do think Estime is probably a little bit better, but Diggs is no one to sleep on. The problem with projecting these kids' playing time is just how good. You got to give Notre Dame credit. They've actually been kind of on a tear when it comes to finding and developing these running backs. Kyron Williams is a beast right now. You got Chris Tyree, who is one of the top backs in the class. I believe he was the top all-purpose back in the country in that 2020 class. So there's guys ahead of these two that make it hard, and obviously they kind of have to compete with each other a little bit for playing time. But I definitely think Logan Diggs will be an excellent rotational back throughout his career. Has a chance to start at some point once, I believe, both of them probably have to wait for Williams and Tyree to be gone. But after that, that's wide open for them to fight between, along with the 2022 kids coming in who we will talk about at some point. In fact, I actually did make a video about our current 2022 running back commit, Jadarian Prince, which you can watch in that Notre Dame playlist I talked about earlier. And they're also still coming after 2022 running backs, so it might take 2 that class too. So it will be competitive. It will be tough, but I'm not a slacker. I know sometimes you see 3-star and again, a 3-star, you think mediocre. To me, this kid's far from mediocre and will be very solid for us. Could kind of be like Sebo Flemister, kind of like a 3-star, not talked about a lot, but really kind of just impresses when he gets the ball in his hands. I think Diggs might actually be better in the long run than Flemister, and I really like Flemister, so that's it's a positive outlook there. So overall, guys, let me know what you think about this 2021 running back class. I think it's a very solid haul. I know it's not like the guys we were looking for. We don't want to say his name too often, but I already forgot his name, actually. So, see, look at that. I don't even say. Will Shipley. I remember now. Will Shipley was the 5-star running back who ended up at Clemson, who we recruited very hard for a really long time, and we missed out on him. And so for a while in this 21 class, we were wondering, like, who are we going to end up with? Like, what's going on here? How is this all going to play out? We also targeted a running back who ended up committing to Michigan pretty heavily, but I mean, dude went to Michigan, so he has to live with that. I don't want to hate the prospect, but just come on, man, Michigan, really? Good luck with that. Anyways, so failing on the two running backs, the fact we still managed to end up with Audric Estime and Logan Diggs is actually very impressive. Two very talented kids. I am not mad about this class at all. Obviously, Shipley would have been awesome, and I don't want to hate on the kids who chose other ways. I respect that. I'd say the way it started at the beginning, to end the way it did is actually very nice, pulling in Estime late and making sure Diggs stayed with us, even though he got that offer from his home state school, who also has a great running back history in LSU. He still stuck with us, and I'm glad he did. I think both of them will make impacts for this school at some point. Let me know what you think about the prospects. This is one of the examples of neither running back went in early, so we didn't get to see any of them at the spring game. Other positions we did get to, so when I get the stuff like tight ends and wide receivers, actually, wide receivers, one of them did, so we can talk about how they did in spring and stuff. These guys will be on campus soon, I believe in June, so we'll get to hear, then we'll hear stuff about them in fall camp and stuff. But just from, their high school tape and the recruiting services and stuff, for what I've heard, this is what I was get my opinions for you this time. So like I said, let me know what you think about these recruits. I am very excited about them. I hope you are too. If you're not, tell me why. I feel free to discuss it with you. I think Notre Dame just, with Lance Taylor at running back coach, I think the momentum in the way Williams played, I think just the momentum for our running back recruiting has picked up from what it used to be. And, I mean, the guys we had before weren't slouches either. Dexter Williams, Tony Jones, et cetera, et cetera. I think the legacy will continue for Notre Dame running backs. In fact, I think these guys will probably just, in terms of draft capital for the NFL, I think the current guys now will end up better than, Tony Jones was undrafted. I think Williams was undrafted or like a 7th-round pick. Stuff like that. Same with Josh Adams. So I think these guys could actually end up being draft picks. And I have a lot of faith in their running back coach and the players themselves. So once again, this is KMA Preston. Thank you so much for watching. Click over here for that Notre Dame playlist I talked about a couple times. It's got all my Notre Dame videos on it. You can look at 2022 recruits. I talk about them when they get here. I got the preview for the quarterbacks coming in this season, and just a lot of stuff Notre Dame related from this season, last season, and a little bit from this season. Right here is the link. Just click this and you can subscribe to the channel. That mean a lot to me. Like I said, trying to reach 200 subs. We're very close. Hopefully we can hit it by the time you see this video, and we can just keep growing the channel anyways. And over here is just a random video of mine YouTube decided to recommend for you in case you're feeling, maybe it's for another sports team or something you can keep exploring that. But like I said, I promise I will continue to bring Notre Dame content that hopefully you enjoy. I managed to stretch it to 18 minutes. It's what I do best, guys. Anyways, this is KMA President signing out. Thank you so much for watching.